Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dreaming Dwarves of Verkal Dromak. In the last episode, we were stabilizing after killing Rosnadaga. Now we are waiting for the 2 years for this truce to be done so we can call in both of our allies into this next war, because Rosnadaga is really strong. I cannot fight them one-on-one right now. I am weak and have no money. Oh no, Silent Streaks. In Segdir? Oh, shit. That's gonna hit us. Ugh. Gotta deal with that now. I don't want to deal with that. Ugh. That is just the not fun one. Because I'm still not in a good place. Monetarily. Corruption's nearly down. It's walking in disaster. Cool. So I guess we're probably not going to do that. And instead we're going to just wait and see. Instead we're going to just wait and see. Are you done yet? Yes. Cool. It means it's time. Let's go. Organize. You get food. Cool. Manpower. Send all 10. Morale, I want 3 on this one, because this is the final one. The final one always sucks. That should do. Let's go. Alright. That's gonna suck. Power restored. Your party returns to the now powered up and, hopefully, functional main room of the structure. And much to your joy, it is indeed as you hoped. The entire hall is illuminated by a bright light emitted from strange, ornate lanterns, who shine upon impressive-looking decor that can now be seen without any additional source of brightness. From surprisingly lavish furniture dotting the corners to astutely put-together walkways leading to other rooms, you just now begin to notice how gifted the workforce in this workshop really was. Several previously locked doors are now open to you, and your gaze lingers on 2 options, neatly displayed by a sign above 2 particular doorways. Forge, with the promise of uncovering technological marvels that may lie dormant in this complex, or the gem storage, which makes many in your group ecstatic with its allure of riches. Go for the tech first. Beautiful hold, sure, do it. Next is, I need to start you. I have to do the exploration. Okay, cool. Yep, okay, cool. Alright. Yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with it. It's gonna destroy us. Alright, you decide to prioritize the forge in your exploration efforts. Since you are sure it holds plenty of interesting materials and potential constructions of invaluable worth to the outside world, and sure enough, once you enter the forge itself, you see several large smelting furnaces that are now powered up and ready to continue producing raw materials for the smithies ahead. However, it also seems the decades of abandonment have led to deterioration of a few key components, as one of the furnaces, near the middle of the forge halls is spewing flames, with plenty of nearby equipment being ignited by it as well. Now, get rid of them. Fighting the fires. Cat! Not now. Sorry, my cat is being loud. You need to just be fine and be happy. Okay? Alright. You try your hardest to extinguish the flames with everything available to you, and, after a few initial setbacks, eventually succeed in putting out the fires. Afterwards, you manage to secure quite a bit of raw materials that some of you estimate to be worth quite a bit on the markets all over Anbennar. Okay? I think that might have been supposed to be Halan. After inspecting your equipment, you move on ahead to what seems to be the entrance of the smithy. Very nice. Land tech useless. Wrong. Okay, next I'm going to turn some of those off. Ooh, wait. You guys need to stay on. You need to stay on. Okay. Those guys need to stay on. Everyone else is fine. And we're going to be upgrading. Going to be upgrading these. This one's on the road first. Ooh, that's the wrong spot. Get the ones along the road first. Oh, and Grumston out, of course. Yeah, just give me the money. I don't care. The smithy. After you put out the flames, you proceed onwards toward the smithing area ahead. You see several arrays of smaller metallurgy workshops lined up perfectly with all kinds of tools used for turning raw materials into the intricate wonders of art you saw throughout the workshop. As you rummage through the first stations,
Your guards notice noises that quickly close in on your group. Barely managing to alert the rest of your men to the danger, they are soon struck down by a small but well-equipped mob of goblins. Get them? Those are merely the scouts. There is no time to prepare. Goblin troops immediately attack your group, and you are forced to defend yourself against their nimble attacks. Thankfully, you are used to that by now. Some men fall, some have to deal with minor injuries, but in the end, you dispatch this small contingent of enemies fairly quickly. It appears to have been a scout troop. This does not bode well. Well, got some loot. Take it. Uh-huh. How is it looking? They have a bunch of expeditions that they haven't done. This does not bode well. Yeah, it's already at level 2 on that. Ugh. That's gonna be annoying. I don't want to deal with that. It's gonna get over here too. At a crossroad. After finishing your business in the forge, you decide to head out and explore the rest of the complex. Your group eventually comes to a halt at a crossroads, with a few signs pointing towards different directions. After some arguing, everyone agrees, you decide where to go next. Gem storage. Yeah, let's do gem storage. Find merchant class. Cool, I don't care. Huh. I guess they're monstrous. Gem storage. You hope for riches, and that is exactly what you got right here in front of you. As you follow the doorway, you are eventually led into a room that is gaudy beyond belief. Polished alexandrites, zircons, emeralds, massive diamonds, large jade deposits. You can't even begin to name all the different games? I think it's supposed to be gems that are neatly stored on the shelves in this room, and whose value seems to dwarf even your keenest expectations. You all grab as much as you can carry and move on. There must be more to uncover. Worth it. Very nice. Yeah, we had anti-monsters against command. You want soldiers. I have a good chunk. You know, that's fine. I'm fine with that, actually. We've gotten over that. Any of these useful? No? How about you? Nope. That's what I could have done. Could have done that and actually converted them. You know, I still can. I can just take him out of the trade company. He'll be mad, but whatever. The workstations. After your grand haul in the gem storage, you proceed to the place directly behind the shelves, which seems to be akin to a jeweler. Obviously, this is the part of the complex where all those grandiose gems in your possessions are now further being worked on to produce even more stunning and valuable results. And true enough, you enter a workshop full of filigrane tools, smaller workstations, and a few truly large gems that truly defy all expectations you had for this place. They are so enormous that their height tops the largest men in your force, and their worth is beyond mortal comprehension. You immediately try to search for ways to split and transport them away from this place, when suddenly you notice something strange. The stones seem to have moved, and not only that, the air in this place seems to be filled with strange vibrato. Now highly alert, you begin to ready your weapons, but it's already too late. The giant gemstones suddenly morph into something akin to a golem and attack instantly. One swing of their newly formed diamond-hard claws is enough to rip through armor, send your troops flying. Yeah, kill it? Very good. Flight is not an option. These golems are too dangerous to be left to their own devices. You and your men draw your weapons and try to defeat the stony monstrosities before they can wreak havoc upon the lesser capable expedition members. Thankfully, the past few battles accustom you to fights like this, and even though they are fearsome enemies, the gem guards eventually go down to your swift and decisive action. You may have lost a few men, but thankfully you now don't have to search for a way to split up the loot into portable sizes. Very nice. Yeah, after those get built, I should be able to convert it. Rings bring fertility, cool. Add a crossroad, and to the barracks. Alright, the barracks is the last one. Then we have to fight a big goblin horde. Barrack Zolgub. Choosing to follow signs towards the barracks, you make your way through the labyrinth of passageways until you reach a large cluster of smaller, separated living and sleeping quarters titled Zolgub. Judging by its size, these barracks were used to house a bulk of the stationary forces back when the workshop operated under normal conditions. Ideal for stocking up on all kinds of provisions, or so you think. Sadly, a large amount of goblins seem to have thought the same and made camp within the comfy rooms. The awkward moment of one group disrupting another group's well-earned rest is quickly forgotten about as everyone picks up their weapons and the fighting commences. Kill them. Oh, and here they come. The tight corridors and overall narrow spaces in the living areas make any engagement rather difficult for both parties. and your expedition struggled quite a bit to get the upper hand over the well-rested bunch of goblins that have scattered across the quarters. And yet, you defeat the goblins with ease, only suffering a few minor casualties. Nonetheless, your strategist notices several handwritings left behind by the goblin warriors, indicating they were but a fraction of a much larger force that may eventually make their way to the workshop.
Yep, it's about time to go fight them. Huh. Hey, we finished. Nice. See some old rights. Cool. You can get rid of that now. Cool. And here's the main force. The fight against the goblins within the barracks was a surprise, but you managed to brave the attack somewhat successfully. However, as you make your way back to the central hub of the workshop, one of your scouts manages to detain a goblin guard at his post near the central workshop hub. As you arrive, an interrogation is in progress, with the guard spilling the beans about a large fighting force stationed in the nearby caves and now alerted by your excursion. The local chief decided that your presence must be a sign of a massive discovery, and thus amassed all of his fighting forces to come and take whatever you found. This does not bode well, and within your group, many voice their fears in regards to the oncoming assault. You decide to hurry to the main room as soon as possible and set up fortifications, but as you arrive, it's already too late. The massive metal doors are already wide open, and a seemingly endless horde of goblins is pouring through it. The situation could not be more dire. Goblin tide has begun. Alright, let's go. Goblin tide. This is nothing like you have ever faced. The goblin manpower seems to be truly endless, as more and more keep flooding into the hall, posing a tough challenge to even the most battle-hardened veterans in your expedition. And not only is the amount of enemies staggering, their ferocity is unmatched as well. Not a single battle you fought during this expedition so far has demanded so much of you, as you desperately attempt to hold choke point near the hall's exits. Just defending your positions is an arduous affair, as encirclement becomes a real issue for your troops. The fights continue, and your entire force gazes into the abyss of total annihilation. Thankfully, though, death is not what fate had in store for you today. In a stroke of either pure genius or sheer dumb luck, one of your archers manages to fell the commanding officer in charge of the entire mob with a well-aimed shot, causing enough confusion in the ranks of goblins for your warriors to decapitate the other leading figures. Soon afterwards, the tide of battle turns in your favor, and soon, a once mighty goblin tide is reduced to a large pile of corpses. You celebrate, and not only did you survive against all odds, you managed to loot impressive jewelry and other valuables from the goblin officers. Nothing will hinder you anymore. Very nice. That should be it. You guys done? Nope. And it has been explored. It's been a long journey, but it is finally time to reap the fruits of your labor. After the hardships of the past few days, there are no more obstacles left, no more enemies to fight, and no more hardships that could best you and your men. You make sure to explore the rest of the complex to the extent it is powered up anyway, and stow away all of your findings for the way back. It takes some time, but eventually you are sure you have done all you can for now. As your expedition gathers for departure, you once again praise them for a job well done, and promise to reward them generously upon a safe return. Then you head out. Let them rest? Wrong. Next. Next. We're going to this one. This can be fully done for 800. Beautiful cavern profits? Well, there it is. Oh, you're building a fort. Right. I'll do with you in a bit then. Come on, move. Grab it there. Alright. Very nice. Let's get this next one going. Oh, it's time. Alright. And where are you? It's under this one. Da-da-da, here. I'm going for dirt depth. Very nice. Organize. Send them in. This is the first one. The first one's not so bad. Yeah, the first one's not so bad. Let's give this all admin points. Alright, and let's go. If they wipe, I will be sad. But I think it should be fine. That should do for that. Old Dame's here. Okay, we take those. Open the gates. Upon reaching the end of the maze of tunnels, the winding staircase marked on the map, scouts suddenly stop.
As the rest of the expedition pushes past them, it becomes clear why. Before them stands the great steel gate of Grimhardum, still resplendent and majestic, as it was when it was abandoned, just as the previous expedition had reported. Filled with hope, the great forge had been spared the destruction that befell all else in the Serpent Spine. Several forward scouts attempted to push the great doors apart to gain entry. Soon, there was a line of men pushing upon the doors in unison, but to no avail. The gate still remained still and silent. Yeah, just grief it. Engineering built to last. With one last push, and barely a whisper, the great gates swing open, and the expedition hurries inside. As the gate closes behind the last man, everyone relaxes. The finely crafted doors are still unblemished, and will provide a bulwark against any creatures attempting to sneak in from the rear. Beyond the threshold, the walls of the entrance corridor are covered in pipes and more carvings, but unlike the door, these are blackened by soot and grime. The floor is likewise filthy, littered with metal and bone scraps, the unmistakable sign of goblin infestation. Grimly but resolutely, the expedition moves towards the flickering orange light that illuminates the end of the corridor. Is it hot in here? Yep, alright. We have dealt with this one when we did Greedy Green Goblin. That was oh boy. The Great Forge. I will deal with that in just a second. I want to look at Great Project Map mode. Alright, we got 1, 2, 3 in unusual places. Let's see. Do you guys have any? We got something here. What's this one? This one is a big forge. I believe this is... Yeah, I believe that's the one with the golem dude. Let's see, what else do we have? You're an interesting one. What you got? No, this is that one. Never mind. Never mind. That's the one. I don't know which ones are which, honestly. Are there any others? This one. This looks like the last one. And this is the one with... This is the weird holy site. Because it gives you, missionary strength. I don't know. I don't really get that one. There was a ghost there. It looks like we have the most at 3. Alright. Here it is, the Great Forge. As the expedition approaches the end of the corridor, temperature continues to rise. Soldiers sweat and shift in their heavy armor, looking enviously at the airy robes and simple leather armor afforded to others. Rounding the corner and entering the forge proper, a cavernous circular room bathed in orange light opens up before them. Magma flows and drips from pipes running the length of the room, running to and from a great pit in the center of the room. So wide is the pit that, combined with the heat haze present, nobody can see across it to the other side clearly. Some of the braver scouts venture to the edge, peering over to see a great cauldron far below, suspended by huge chains, with each link thicker than a man's torso. There are simple metal elevators hanging haphazardly below, intending to bring workers to levels below this one, but they appear to be stuck and are out of reach for now. The floor is strewn with soot and debris. All kinds of metal, bone, cloth, and food scraps lie everywhere. Looking up, a giant dome is far above, funneling steam and other vapors into a huge hole at the apex. In the shadow cast by the dome, rusty metal scaffolding and rickety ladders lead to nooks populated with glowing, unblinking eyes. Ugh. Equidistant around the walls are carved stone doorways, leading to miscellaneous rooms and antechambers, some with dedicated pipes serving them. As the scouts return to report what they saw to the rest of the expedition, one steps upon a discarded sheet of pig iron. A screech of alarm rings out, and a ruddy brown arm grabs their ankle. There is a feral goblin sleeping underneath it. Abandoning caution, scouts sprint back to the main party, as more goblins pour from the surrounding rooms and from around the pit. There's barely enough time for the expedition to close ranks around the scouts before the goblins crash into them. Well, let's fight them. Unbreakable shield wall. Using the narrow entrance of the corridor as a choke point, the feral goblin's charge was quickly broken upon the expedition's shields and spears, with few casualties from the defenders. As the remaining goblins turn tail and flee, it becomes apparent that the goblins' fallen brethren have brought quite a haul. Most of them were knitted in crudely modified armor, wielding weapons sourced from inside the forge. Even after so many years of misuse, these pieces are still finely crafted and would fetch a high price from collectors. Nice. Let's see. I'll deal with that in a second. It's one of those. Okay, cool. So this gives me iron and copper. Then it's decent. The goods produced is pretty nice, and production efficiency, because it's going to keep Great Mushroom Cave, so... Yeah, and then digging through layers 50% cheaper. Yeah, this is why I want that. With the immediate danger past, the expedition huddles together in an antechamber near the entrance to plan their next move. The untouched levels below are tantalizingly close. They cannot continue until all the remaining squatters have been eradicated. The mages and scouts of the expedition present the leader with options for which to deal with first. High above, they have identified in the eyes in shadowed nooks and occasional echoing cries of giant cave bats. These bats are even larger than normal, and what little of them can be seen has a distinctive reddish tint, leading several mages to suggest they may have been mutated by the residual magics of the forge. If the swarm is not dealt with swiftly, careless action could bring them down upon the expedition. Somewhat on the same level as the expedition is a lair of feral goblins that first assailed them. The remains of the feral goblin charge have retreated there for safety, as the strongest goblins will be lounging about in the comfort of the lair. The lair will also contain feral goblin clan boss, choice of loot scavenged from the forge. Cleansing the feral goblins will reward the expedition with these spoils, but it's impossible to know yet just how many lurk within the lair. Lastly, a platform between this level and the next, surrounded on all sides by pipes. Judging by the various valves, dials, and levers, the area was used to control the flow of liquids through the many pipes in the forge. Most of the controls are in disrepair, and those that appear surfaceable are covered by magma leaking from weakened pipe junctions. If the flow of magma to the upper levels can be disabled, it will prevent further dangerous leaks from the pipes below. Pipes above, again, the mages caution that unstable magics of the forge are likely to have spawned magma oozes wherever magma leaks, but these cannot be separated from regular magma without closer inspection. Yes, fight the goblins first. Ooh, hello. That is a... I can do a fun thing. Slender merchant. Oh, what does this do, actually? Manpower recovery speed, sailor recovery speed. Probably max out, it's fine. Screw their money. Kill their money, that's the main one. Who is down? You are. Cool. Need you guys drilling, because, oh my goodness, really do. Goblin Slayer, I'll deal with that in a second. What does this give me? At the end, this gives me the dealing with the dam. Okay. And global construction time is also really good. Is it time for that? I'm not sure. The Goblin Slayer. Following the trail of blood left by the feral goblins, the expedition scouts have located the lair. It sits in a room almost antipodal to the entrance, hidden by the heat haze over the central pit. The entrance has been repeatedly smashed and broken, enlarging it enough for more than 6 men to walk through shoulder to shoulder. The adjoining chambers have also had their doorways battered, inner walls collapsed, and the windows barricaded with sheet metal, creating a rather spacious lair protected from most of the heat of the forge. As the scouts watched, several dead feral goblins were brought from the lair and unceremoniously hurled into the central pit. No doubt the clan boss was angered by their failure to crush the expedition. Unfortunately, with the windows blocked, the scouts were unable to ascertain how many goblins remain in the lair, or where they store their loot. Despite the lack of information on their numbers, the expedition leader decides to carry out the strike immediately. Right now, the goblins will be bickering and fighting over who should take the blame for their previous attack's failure, and who should risk their life to try again. If they can be caught off guard while trapped in their lair, their looted equipment and possible numeric advantage will be completely nullified. Hugging the walls of the forge chamber to remain undetected, the expedition approaches from both sides of the lair simultaneously. At the front are mages escorted by a small retinue of soldiers. On the leader's mark, the mages will blast fireballs into the lair, summon flashes of light and plumes of smoke, and generally attempt to disorient all the goblins inside. Any goblins rushing out of the lair for reprieve will be swiftly cut down, and once the mages are spent, the main body of the army will enter the lair to mop up the remains. As the leader begins counting down with hand signals, a loud belch emanates from the lair doorway. Daring not to breathe, the whole expedition watches powerlessly as a cave troll lumbers out of the doorway. It turns to the side lazily, meeting the leader's gaze uncomprehendingly. As its eyes widen, raises the misshapen hunk of metal it carries with both hands, and the leader desperately cries, "Now! Attack now!" Ah, this cave troll. The bigger they are. All around the lair are the bodies of several feral goblins, mixed with those of some unlucky expedition members. Though the cave troll could crush 10 men with one swing, it was powerless against the forces of gravity. After recovering from the initial chaos, a small squad led by a mage managed to lure the troll to the edge of the pit. Their bodies lie down there with the troll now, to be retrieved by a later expedition. Seeing their troll fall broke the will of the remaining feral goblins, and they were easily mowed down by the reinvigorated expedition soldiers. The panic spells cast at the beginning of the operation destroyed much of the loot lying out in the open in the lair. As those searching the lair in despair, an engineer discovers a hidden compartment at the back behind a makeshift throne of iron. Inside is a manner of decorative metal artifacts, goblets, candlesticks, ceremonial swords, the list goes on. Whew.
I am. Tired of reading. Oh my goodness. Alright. It looks like it's time for you to get finished. Thank you. Very nice. Beasts everywhere. Let's go up. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got a new thing. Tell me, what is it you guys desire? More corruption, or more mercantilism? The corruption's nearly gone. Let's get the mercantilism. Nah. Keep this going. Oh, we're pretty much done. Populist is 10. Bleh. Placate. Not doing that one. Admin support. Admin. Titles. There we go. Almost down. Many jobs as a soldier. Fine. I'll lose professionalism. Bats above. What is my professionalism at? Where are you? It's around the same spot. In the antechamber, a debate rages among the expedition about how to best handle the bats. One fireball and the whole swarm will be set alight, argues a trigger-happy mage. We won't even have to fight them. This idea is quickly vetoed by the leader of the scouts. Are you crazy? You'll bring the whole scaffold down on us. Before the mage can snap a response, he continues, besides, this whole place is hotter than a dragon's armpit. Those bats probably eat magma for breakfast. What if your fireballs make them stronger? Then we'll be fighting giant flaming bats. After several more minutes, the expedition leader steps in to make the final decision. No fireballs. As some of the less disciplined mages sulk, he organizes a group of armored soldiers and light archers to face the bats, leaving the rest of the expedition to hunker down in the antechamber and wait. The plan is simplicity itself. The soldiers will stand in a loose square around the archers, ready to protect them from any zooming bats. As of now, the swarm has not been alerted to the first strike, so the first strike is the key to the whole operation. The archers have been instructed to aim for the glowing eyes in the darkness, calling out their target's position quietly to ensure no bat is targeted twice. Once all the archers have identified the target, they will fire on the lead archer's mark, hopefully killing or disabling most of the swarm before they can even get close. Even without their great numbers, the remaining bats will still be dangerous, as their leathery wings have been known to deflect arrows and chip swords. Still, so long as everyone remains calm, the casualties should be kept to a minimum. Silence on the forge. Unfazed by the screeching cries of the bats, the archers identified their targets in mere minutes. Like a well-oiled machine, they fully draw and hold their arrows in unison for a few agonizing seconds. As the cry of fire rings across their ranks, a cloud of arrows sails gracefully up, piercing countless bats. The remaining bats shriek and swoop, their fangs sharper and hide tougher than expected. And with their numbers so thin, casualties from the expedition are few and far between. While tending to the wounded, a cleric notes that many bats were killed with a single shot through their eye, leaving unusual reddish hide intact. This unique fire-resistant pelt will be of interest to many other craftsmen back home. Nice. Cool. We got one more after this. Yeah, this is just kind of ridiculous at this point. Alright. Too dark to see. Wow, thanks, game. Appreciate that. I guess I gotta take a loan. Great. A loan or some corruption. I'd rather deal with corruption, honestly. Honestly, I'd rather deal with corruption. I would just rather deal with corruption. Beasts everywhere, and let's go down to get the oozes. Not quite time for that. How are we looking on this? 2,000. That's not bad at all. That is a single one of these. That is a single one of these. Very nice. Let's grab it. Oh, right. Goods produce modifier. That's going to give me some money. And now, let's give you a little dev. 142? Let's not. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. What are you? No? You? No? You're fine. Cool. That'll help with that. Let's actually use this money for something useful. Alright, cool. The magma below. Huh? Oh, we have artificers now. Oh, that's what happened. Alright, fine. You get to be state artificers or independent unions. Let's do independent.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna do independent unions. Cool. That also means it is time to start on this, huh? What are we gonna do? We're gonna do brilliant invention. Cool. Stop drilling. Let's get all these forts back on. Where are you? Turn them on. Stop drilling, and stop drilling. Magma below. Unsurprisingly, none of the expedition are keen on being sent down to the magma-covered platform hanging in the pit. After a quick drawing of lots, a small group of soldiers are chosen to accompany a water mage and an engineer down to the platform to attempt to disable the flow of magma. Sending too many men risks the weakened and overheated supports breaking, and so the remainder of the expedition can do nothing but watch as the group is lowered on chains to the platform. As the first soldier touches down on the on one of the few magma-free spaces, two magma oozes leap at them from the surrounding magma. One quick burst of water from the mage above him keeps them from engulfing him, and they are visibly shaken as the oozes recoil back into the safety of the magma. The next few minutes are much the same. The group makes painfully slow progress across the platform, clearing pools of magma and dodging magma ooze ambushes as best they can. As they reach the dense tangle of pipes with controls, the engineer suddenly cries out, "I can see the emergency shutoff pipes, but the valves are broken. I can't close them." There is little time to make a decision. The water mage is visibly exhausted and out of mana potions, and several of the group have already perished to the oozes. If the valves can be repaired and the flow of magma arrested, the magma oozes on the platform will be severely weakened. Perhaps enough to save the brave men down there? Though their situation is already pretty dire. What's the worst that could happen if the group is simply allowed to perish? Do the rest alone? Yeah, throw them the stuff. Cooling off. The engineer works desperately with what tools and materials are thrown down from above. With a grunt of effort, he finally turns the valves and shuts off the flow of magma. The magma oozes stop their assault, confused and weakened, providing the opening for the group to counterattack. Finally, the platform is cleared of magma oozes, and the relieved remainders of the group can be retrieved. As they're being pulled up, the engineer gasps and roars. Above! Look out above! Far above, the increased pressure from closing the emergency valves has pushed the pipes past their breaking point. As the expedition scrambles to get clear of them, they explode, showering unlucky expedition members with magma and shrapnel. Were it not for that warning, our casualties would have been much greater. There's a silver lining, too. Inside the magma were precious gemstones and chunks of ore, now left spread out on the platform for the taking. I mean, I'll take it. Alright, let's give it one more tick. And go. Okay, cool. You can do that one. Get them. And you can grab those two. Why are they always on the gold? And, cool. Beasts are cleared. Let's go. Okay, you've done your job. Very nice. You may drill. You may drill. These guys are still mad because, well, of course they are. They get a placate. They still have the Force Religion? Yes. Placate decays at the same rate as that, so it should be fine. Give them one more. I have plenty. Alright. Artifice capacity. Let's turn that off. What are we at, actually? 24. Means we'll actually be able to get something. Oh, yeah, we'll definitely do Karashi drills. That sounds fun. Oh, I'm sorry. It spawned here? I'm sorry. Manufactory spawned right there. Right next to me. Bruh. It spawned right next to me. One province away. One province away. That's annoying. One province away. 22. Not there yet. Anyway, you can drill too. You may go back over here. How much money are we making? Not enough. Send those back off. They don't need to be on. Corrupt connections. Trade efficiency or corruption? Fine. No, he leaves my court. I don't want that. He's good. I like him. He's half price. Broken elevators. With the surrounding beasts cleared and the expedition out of danger for now, interest in exploring the lower levels of the forge is reignited. The elevators once used to travel between floors hang below, their chains tangled and rusted. Many of the elevators are missing platforms and guardrails, and some have come loose altogether, barely visible, laying battered and broken deep in the pit. In this state, the expedition leader would be hard-pressed to find a single man willing to travel down using these, let alone a whole expedition. After several hours of examinations, with telescopes and attempts to untangle the elevators with blasts of air, the engineers have come up with a plan. Though most of the elevators are not worth fixing, a group of larger freight elevators has been preserved in good condition and have swung free from the debris binding them thanks to the efforts of the mages. Unfortunately, the brakes are still deployed on each elevator, and their chains have been greatly weakened by friction as the elevators slipped further and further down over time. If these elevators are hauled up intact, the only major repair required is the replacement of a length of chain that hung above the elevator. However, the engineers caution the new chain must be of sufficient sturdy metal, or the next elevator to fall may take out the expedition with it. Amid the rhythmic cries of heave-ho, as the men haul the elevators up, the expedition leader considers his options. The expedition has small stores of steel, iron, and bronze reserved for mending armor and emergency structural repairs. In a pinch, these could be fashioned into remarkably sturdy chains. Alternatively, the metal scraps strewn across the forge could be used instead. After all, they were good enough for the old dwarfs of Grumhardum. No, use that. I have supplies for a reason. Elevator repair for dummies. With the elevator chains replaced and fed into the elevator winches, the expedition watches anxiously as scrap is piled onto the elevator performs to test to their capacity. With the floors of the elevators completely covered, the winches are turned and the elevators groan downwards to the bottom of the pit. After a tense few minutes, the elevators arrive back at the top with their load intact and not a single chain so much as cracked. Wonderful. Alright, we're gonna finish this, then the episode's gonna be done. Corrupt taxman. More corruption. Ugh. Take the admin hit. I have too many admin points anyway. You know? What's next? First treatment. Autonomy change cooldown. Is he protecting force? That's actually useful. That'll actually give me something. Yeah, they'll give me something. Not much, but something. Okay. Are these converted yet? No. No. But they both have Dean's Deer, so, like, okay. That's one. 59. Alright, cool. A good start. With the squatters cleared from the top level of the forge and the elevators repaired, the entrance to the Great Forge has been made safe for now. The lower levels yearn to be explored, and once again, some of the more foolhardy men vie to be the first to set foot below in millennia. Many brave soldiers were lost to the beasts, and many more supplies were spent along the trip. The expedition is also burdened with loot, so much that the expedition leader would have to seriously consider leaving any further treasures behind. The decision is made to retreat for now, returning to the surface to resupply. The expeditionaries will be glad to be free of the cloying heat and the eerie emptiness for a time. Those that have set foot in Grumhardum will be back, though, as the inexorable pull of the forge draws all kinds. No. Going right back out. And we maxed out on those points. Let's get some Devon. Where are ya? It's gonna be that one. Who is the cheapest? You are. Uh-huh. Alright, that looks decent. And now we get to press the upgrade button, don't we? Yes, 400, not bad. And we'll have to see what that gets us. But that'll have to be in the next one. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Wait, let's get this guy drilling. Now we're done.